Okay, so this is our third and final MCAS practice problem on genetics. So it says, in rabbits, a gene controlling fur color has 4 alleles. So this is a problem of multiple alleles coding for a certain trait. The 4 alleles and the phenotypes they produce are listed in the table below. So we got some rabbits that have black fur, some that are Himalayan, it's a certain color, another that's chinchilla, and another that has white fur. It says the alleles are listed in order of the dominance, so some are more dominant than others. So the big R is dominant to the Himalayan. So this one right here is more dominant than the Himalayan. And then it says the chinchilla is more dominant than the white fur. So we're going from most dominant to least dominant. Then it says the RH allele is dominant to RCH. So if we look at these two, this one right here is dominant to RCH. And also this one right here for the white fur. Finally, it says the RCH, the chinchilla phenotype allele, is dominant to R, white fur. So basically, if you look right here, we're going from most dominant to least dominant. So it says Gina has a rabbit with genotype RH little r. Identify the phenotype of Gina's rabbit. So this is the Himalayan phenotype, and little r is the white fur. So we just have to look which one's more dominant, and we can see that, well, right here, this one, the Himalayan, is more dominant than the white. So for part A, what's the phenotype, the physical characteristic of Gina's rabbit? It is going to be Himalayan. So for this one right here, it's Himalayan. Part B, identify all possible genotypes for a black rabbit. Well, there could be a lot, because the black rabbit is the most dominant. So you could have a genotype of big R, and it can be mixed with anything else, and it's still going to be a black rabbit because it's the most dominant. So you could have big R, R with an H here, big R, R with a chinchilla here, and then big R, little r. All 4 of those genotypes are going to lead to one phenotype because big R, black, is the most dominant. Okay, last part. Gina breeds her rabbits with a black rabbit. Let me clear this out. Gina breeds her rabbit with a black rabbit. Okay, what was Gina's rabbit? Oh, here's Gina's rabbit right here. With a black rabbit, which is a very dominant rabbit, if we're talking about genotypes. The phenotype ratio of the offspring of Gina's rabbit and the black rabbit is 2 black, 1 Himalayan, and 1 chinchilla. So you're getting a lot of different ones right there. So let's just write down. So we have, we know what Gina's rabbit is. Gina's rabbit is RH crossed with R. And we just got to figure out what this black rabbit is. So the black rabbit can be 4 different genotypes like we saw in part B. So we got to figure out what genotype it is. Part C says identify the genotype of the black rabbit in this cross. Support your answer by drawing a Punnett square for this cross. So we end up with this. They're kids. If this is going to kind of, we know that in our Punnett square we have 3 different phenotypes that pop up. And we know that Gina's rabbit's going to be on one side. So we're going to have R with an H and then R. So first thing I want to see, is there any white fur that shows up? And no, none of them are white fur. So I can tell that this black rabbit probably doesn't have this white fur right here. Next thing I want to figure out, I know that the black rabbit is going to have at least 1 big R because that's what makes it black. So I know that's the genotype. That's one of the alleles for the black rabbit. Now I just have to figure out what this final spot is to make these, 3 genotypes. And I'm going to have to go ahead and say that let's see here. So RH, RCH. Since one of them is actually chinchilla, that means that this must be chinchilla right here. Because let's cross this out. So if we do the cross to see if we're correct in this guess, it's always good to cross it and see if we are right, because we have to have phenotypes in our offspring that are similar to this. So we cross this, big R, little r, which the H, big R with a little r. So all of these, because they have the dominant allele right here, we know that 2 of them are going to be black. Okay, so that matches up. 2 of them are black. Now we have to see if we have 1 Himalayan and 1 chinchilla. So our next one is going to be RH and RCH, and this one is going to be RCH and R. So this one right here, if we look up here, Himalayan is more dominant than chinchilla. So this one will be Himalayan. So we know we have at least one that's Himalayan, and this one is R, CH, and R, and we know that the chinchilla is more dominant to the little r. So we're good there. So it says identify the genotype of the black rabbit in this cross. Well, it's this right here. That's a pretty difficult question. But part A and part B are pretty doable, and if you get part C, then you're going to get a really good grade on this. All right, hope that's been helpful.